mention that they've played 6 times previously and failed to record a win. And many an exciting game and occasion I've seen between these teams, dating back to 1966 when I saw Jim Baxter, when I was sitting in the stand, overshadowing Pelé, would you believe, in a marvellous match. And then in 1973 at Hampden Park, Brazil winning by 1-0 to nothing. And in that marvellous game in Frankfurt, which was a no-scoring draw, and Billy Bremner missed a chance from about 3 yards and just crept past the post. Well, Scotland would have won on that occasion. And then beaten in Rio de Janeiro in the Maracanã Stadium, 2-0 to nothing, although that evening Scotland performed very well again. And that marvellous night, which nobody who was there will ever forget, in Seville, in Spain in 1982, when Scotland were beaten 4-1 after that remarkable opening goal by David Neri, beaten by 4-1. But the Brazilian and Scottish supporters proved to the world that what mattered more than anything else was that football was a festival, and they proved it. Tonight, as Scotland kick off, the temperature not nearly as warm as it was in Seville that sultry evening. In fact, it's turned rather chilly. Crowd, I would say, is in the region of 35,000 or thereabouts. That's a disappointment, because the man sitting beside me says that if ever people should come out and see any team at all, given the name of the team, it should be Brazil. That's Jim McLean, manager of Dundee United. I would agree with that, Jim.
Oh yes, I'd have thought that this would have been a sellout, but coming at this time of the season, I'm sure, is one of the main reasons.
And that's Scotland early on in the attack, and Mr. Roxburgh has been saying that the Scottish players are angered by certain criticisms of them last Saturday in what I thought was a commendable result, a commendable second half, but a deplorable first half, I have to say, and hope tonight that we see something infinitely better. Number 2, Josima. This is Douglas. William Douglas Hume, would you believe, de Menzies. He says he's got no Scottish blood in his veins. The Scottish boat must have stopped off way back. Gerald Dow. Muller. That's Josima. Josima, number 2, Jim. This is a man who scored a magnificent goal against Northern Ireland in the World Cup.
Yes, I think he scored another magnificent goal in the World Cup too, but I can't remember who it was against. But Davy Cooper looks as if he's been told to play fairly wide to try and stop Josima from getting forward.
So in fact we only have Ali McCoy stopped because Davy Cooper has come back wide on the left.
Well, I think Paul McStay's got a role to play around anywhere off the front, as well as at the moment he's very deep.
There's McCoist. I think the referee, who is Luigi Agdolan from Italy, will give a free kick for that. There's Richard Gough. I like Gough on Saturday, got into the box a lot, was very brave. Now, Willie Miller. Josimar almost intercepting, there's a good run to Cooper. Typically dragging the defender with him. Looks in good nick, and I think may have been fouled. Yes, he was. Pained expression on Josimar's face, but it is a free kick. Cooper did not make an appearance on Saturday, and he's usually very good indeed at this kind of ball. They have the big men up now. Alec McLeish has come in. Roy Aitken. Ooh, that's almost a cross, and Aitken it was.
That was an absolutely magnificent ball for Cooper.
That's Richard Gough, but in fact it was Roy Aitken who made the header, as you'll see from this. A very good ball indeed, Jim.
Yes, a magnificent cross. I thought Richard Gough was only a yard short here, and eventually Roy Aitken put it over the bar.
Good start by Scotland. This is Douglas. Well picked up by McStay. There's Adam McCoy did get his touch to that. Appeals for handling. McStay operating in the middle of the field at the moment. Willie Miller. Beautifully chested down there by Josimar. I think we've already indicated he likes to come forward and hits them from well out, and he can do that with great precision. Well, nicely taken down by Mirandinha. Some very tough tackling, and that's a free kick. That's Ian Wilson, who operated in a very neat and concise way for Scotland on the left on Saturday. Picked up there by Valdo. Jim McInally is in. Second international for Jim, and thoroughly deserved. Gerald Dow, the captain. 24 years of age, another of the 8 players who are in the Olympic squad from this side. Muller, very powerful looking indeed. Excellent clearance by Goff. Muller, another player with an un-Brazilian name. He was simply called that because his parents were great admirers of the great German player Gerd Muller. That was Wilson. Now McInally. Much more spirited opening by Scotland in this game than it was on Saturday, and Roberto Ricardo deciding to send Ali McCoy towards the other goal. He really felt that. Free kick. And exactly 5 minutes gone. Cleach upstaging for McStay, and I think McStay may have taken that better. Wilson fights hard for it, and I think that will be brought to Scotland. Cooper looks to be right on his game. Nice play by Scotland. McStay. Willie Miller is up. There's the dab forward, and they'll let that go, and that's a disappointing end to what was a very promising move. Willie Miller slipping forward, but his pass way off. Well, Martin McLeod looked as if he might just be taken for pace, but he did get his head to it. Cooper. McInally. Roy Aitken, who'll drive his side on as usual. Miller. Cooper, that's a superb pass. Martin McLeod. Well, he does well to get that ball in. And nobody on the edge of the box for Scotland. Taken away there by Edu. There he is again. There are 2 Edus. We call him Edu 1. If Edu 2 comes on, we have problems. Mirandinha. Pace again for Muller, and there is Andy Gold. Alec McLeish. That's Goff. Cooper decided to come into the middle that time. Josimar. Roberto Carlos, the oldest player in the team and the most capped. Brazilians have never really been noted for outstanding goalkeepers. They tend to be overshadowed by the outfield players. They say all the boys in Brazil consider it kind of sissy-ish to play in goal. Jim?
They've never needed to have a really good goalkeeper the way they can play outfield.
That may be one good reason. Josimar. McCoist. Slightly off it, and Richard Goff tramping after it. And the big man, wholehearted as usual, didn't give up until the ball went over the line. I wouldn't say it's exactly carefree, Jim, but there's an entirely different atmosphere about this game tonight.
Well, I think the Scottish players are actually making sure that their passing is as good as the Brazilians, if that is possible, because we've got to make sure that we don't give them the ball. Normal Brazilian sides, you can't get it back off them.
Gerald Dow. Mirandinha. Flicked out there by Rai. What's a punishing looking ball going in there for McStay. Wilson breaking with him. Ali McCoist. No, it's certainly Scotland's ball. A little bit of a complaint by the Brazilians. The linesman said it was Scotland's ball, but the referee overruled him, in fact. Yes, Muller being fouled. He's a powerful looking player, number 7. And also an indication of the evening, he's wearing 2 jerseys. I think you noticed a couple of players like that, Jim.
Yes, number 2 and I think number 7 have both got 2 jerseys on. They're maybe wanting 2 Scottish jerseys back for swap.
It's McInally. Andy Gorham, who's played 225 minutes for Scotland and hasn't lost a goal. He's played roughly 2.5 games before this. Came on as a sub in one of the matches. Looked like an elbow there by Douglas. Referee certainly didn't give it. Oh, well brought down by McStay.
If that was an elbow, he's related to Alec Ferguson.
Referee apologises for that. Willie Miller. Once or twice he's edged forward. That's a long, he's short. That's a very good effort. Oh yes, could do with one of that tonight. That was beautifully controlled, I may say. Just an easy-ozy looking effort when it started off, but it extended Carlos.
Willie Miller originally was a striker, so I think he's looking to get back in the act.
Certainly hit it very well. We've now gone about 12 minutes, there's still no scoring. And more in this initial 12 minutes in this half than there was in the first half on Saturday against England. Certainly a much more interesting, more fluid game. Mirandinha. Yes, Gorham will like that. Tommy Docherty said of this man, he is the safest pair of hands in England. He's just under 6 feet, so he has to have some compensatory factor. Beautiful, that's more like Brazil. Muller running round the outside, and that's a free kick. Well, you can see how they were building that up, and Roy Aitken, that wasn't deliberate. It's the way the two of them were running to the penalty area. That was a bit more like Brazil, Jim.
Yes, and also I think that was Roy just giving them the Scottish welcome there. I think it's evident this early in the game that the players are out there really enjoying this, and I think that if you ask any international player who would most like to put their wits against, I'm sure that most votes would be against Brazil.
Yes, I'd agree with you. There's a kind of end-of-term atmosphere about Hampden Park altogether. Last game of the season for at this level, and they say other important games to come, Junior Cup final and so on. Gerald Dow, that was the captain. He was trying to set it off high and let it dip. You can recall some marvellous strikers of a dead ball that the Brazilians had. Rivellino, Jairzinho. Always danger just outside the penalty area. Ali McCoist did well to put it in again. Davy Cooper. That'll be a goal kick. There's David Cooper. He's had a long, hard season like all the other players. I thought he shaded off a bit in the last month, but the skill is always there. Canale, Aiken. Brazilians already indicated how quickly they can counter-attack. Well, Scotland are not messing about in midfield. They're tackling very quickly. There's Willie Miller. The poised all on his own. He did very well to get his head to that, and Jal Dow was complaining about taking one in the face as well. I must say, Alan McCoy is looking quite fresh, even taking into his second half performance against England into account.
Yes, I think that he's had a great season. I'm amazed at the reports that he's supposed to get a lot of stick at Ibrox. He, to me, is a very good player.
Josima going on the outside, Valdo. Well, Wilson took that well, doing a lot of covering up work. Wilson, I think you would describe as an unsensational player. You know, he's not flamboyant, but he walks away. 15 minutes gone, and that is the score at Hampden Park. Stay. No. Pitch is very fiery. Brazilians halfway through a European tour. They go from here to Finland and then to Israel. I think they're expecting easier games here, and I think they may be mistaken. Cooper. Wilson, just the gentlest of touches. McInally wants to hold on to it. Running there by Goff. Oh, and he was taken on by the Brazilian. That was clever defensive play there by Ricardo. There's Ricardo, one of the 6 players who made their international debut against England at Wembley last week. The result of an international always matters at Hampden Park, but I dare say the experience of watching Scotland beaten 4-1 by Brazil and everybody enjoying it, I think the supporters here tonight want them to turn on the style. And for Scotland to compete with it, Josima. Oh, brilliant tackle by Miller. That's very slack. But Scotland looking very secure in the middle of defence. I must say, Davy Cooper's turning in some lovely touches. Some of his one-touch football has been very effective. This is Rai. Idu. Way out on that far side. It's Nelsinho. I haven't seen very much of him. Now Mirandinha. Well, I must say, Andy Goran took that very cleanly. But notice how Mirandinha got some freedom for himself. Looked as if he couldn't get his shot in, dragged it away. And that was a confident-looking save by the goalkeeper. Here's Yannick McLeish. The difference between night and day in comparing. Lovely touch. Well, both McCoist and Cooper have been laying it off to people, and that time it was Paul McStay following up, and I think he was perfectly right to have a go at that time, Jim.
Paul McStay's definitely given a free role here tonight, and he looks as if he's got to be the one to support McCoyston, Cooper. I think David Cooper's been fairly free as well.
Consequently, this Scottish side looks infinitely more varied in the moves than they did on Saturday. Whoops. Almost got away with that. That was Rye. I think we call that wrestling. The referee has decided it is a free kick, and it is for Scotland. Took an eternity, or else they couldn't. That's Josimar. There's a run, and there was a bit of a gap in the Scottish defence. This is Mirandinha. Looks a very dangerous player. They'll get a corner for that. Alec McLeish knows exactly what he's about tonight, though. He knows the danger of Mirandinha.
He looks a very positive player, actually. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to be very direct and look for a shot.
He's in fact scored 70 goals in Brazilian football this season. Corner to Brazil. Not the most intelligent corner I've ever seen. Yes, well, Scotland with almost 21 minutes gone, competing very well. Free kick, Wilson brought down. Useful little player. His club have been relegated, of course, and he's on the transfer market.
Don't tell Graham Souness that one.
Willie Miller. Well, there's Richard Gough coming in, and surely he was elbowed off that. Oh, I look forward to seeing this replay.
In my opinion, before we see it, a penalty kick.
Well, there it is. Whoops, just slightly too fast. We'll come back to that. Corner kick. McLeish was up. There's Roy Aitken. Look at, he's balled into it again, and that was just beyond McStay, and McLeish was following up. And either of them could have put that away.
What a ball for Cooper this is. It's absolutely magnificent into his face.
Well, that's the third time he's done that. I must say, I wouldn't mind a look at that penalty incident again. It looked a clear-cut one to me. Slow build-up by the Brazilians. Zedu. Richard Gough, a lot of space there for Roy Aitken. Well, this is the incident we were talking about. Willie Miller with his right foot again. Watch Richard Gough coming in. Oh, and he looked to be pushed there by Josimar.
Josimar never attempted to go for the ball at all. He turned his shoulder into Gough, in my opinion.
The Italian referee in a benevolent mood.
Scottish supporters are absolutely ridiculous. We've got to keep possession of the ball. The Brazilians are sitting a lot of players back to back goal side of the ball. We must play it accurately and take time to
tries. Almost there. And Jim McLean underlining the importance of possession. The more attacks that they have in goal, the percentage increase of a chance of a score for them is enormous, in fact. Oh. Brilliant stuff by Cooper. Well, I think David Cooper's more Brazilian than the Brazilians tonight, Jim.
Yes, he's looking as if he's really enjoying himself. I'm sure that deep down he's realising that this is the type of game he wants to play in, because obviously it should be all about skill, and he's relishing that factor.
And if skill is the theme tonight, and we expect it of the Brazilians, then Davy Cooper is one of the leading exponents of it. It's a delight to see him on the ball like that. Haven't seen that kind of play from him for a while, actually. Douglas. Look at the wrong one again, and Wilson trying to cover, and he does. His role is as a kind of protector. Oh, he played that round well. Oh, bad ball though by Mother McLeod. 25 minutes of the first half gone. Still nothing each. Muller again. There's a shot at goal. Brilliantly saved.
Look at that again. As soon as he gets the ball, his one thought is to get into goal as quick as possible. He turns really well here and it's a great hit.
Well, that's a great strike, and he opened it up again for himself. Just a little gap there, and that was always a difficult ball for the goalkeeper. McCoy's just a little too hard that time. Cooper. There's Aiken. That's a chip across. Richard goal. There's McCoy, and he can't get there. Wilson. Oh, that should have been in the back of the net. Aiken. And here's the break, and this could be the danger. Edu. Free kick, and that was a bit crude, I must confess.
That was what you would term a professional foul. We were caught short there, so Richard decided to give away a free kick.
And really Scotland should be in the lead by now. Not just quite coming off. Struck back there by Douglas. That's Muller again. Bustling, powerful figure. What a McLeod. Let fly. Edu. Superb ball, he found the gap, and there was Willie Muller. Doing a bit of balling there. I suppose a good defender has to be a bit of a greeting face, Jim.
Well, actually, Willie was a wee bit deep there and played the block onside. He should have been played offside.
That was Edu who fired that in. Almost catching everyone by surprise. Jim McAnally on what has turned out to be a thoroughly entertaining evening. Rye, number 8, watch him again, bears kind of reminiscence to another famous player. He is in fact Socrates' brother, a great Brazilian player who's just retired. Douglas. There's the run forward again. Cooper. Nice turning by Cooper. McStay. Dragged to the outside, a little unfortunate. I think Roy Aiken wanted to take that himself. Josimar deciding to take a hand of proceedings. This is Valdo. Ooh, that's very short. Once again, Willie Murray. I think the referee's penalising him this time. I think the Brazilians would get a free kick out of this. No deflection that time, and Andy Gorham, I think, shouting at his defenders. This Brazilian team, coached by Carlos Alberto, who is the Olympic team coach. Coist, McStay. There's McCoist. Nice turn by McCoist and a very good tackle, eventually by Ricardo. Ricardo keeping a very close watch on him. The long run again, trying to bring Muller into the game, and now Wadham McLeod. Can't get it to Cooper. There's McLeod. McLeish should have recovered. What he does, he's unfortunate, he gets away with it. Great recovery there. Just for a moment I thought he had lost it. He's even better than he was on Saturday. Roy Aiken. Here's McLeish. Wilson by his side. Richard Goff. Beautiful little dummy, didn't quite come off. Standing and looking extremely cool, Gerald Dow right in the middle of the defence, and 13 minutes to half time, still no scoring. I don't think I would be accused of bias if I said that Scotland really ought to be in front by now. That's not to say that Gorham hasn't been busy, he has, but really, I think Scotland deserve just a little slice of luck in front of goal. Oh, the run forward is brilliant. Oh, deep run there. That was Nelsinho coming all the way through. Intelligent run forward again. You do that so well, a hidden run, Jim McInally. I think I'd be reasonably contented at the moment, Jim.
Oh, I'm sure Randy Rockford will be quite happy so far. The interesting factor of the Brazilians, if you watch really closely, the outside of their boots must get worn out as much as the inside of their boot with the way they strike the ball. They're absolutely fantastic, the way that they can curl it from one area with the outside of their foot, and the next time they'll bend it the other way with the inside.
Free kick. Davy Cooper, who's had an outstanding evening, is about to take this. Many a manager said about Davy, you know, that he'd be well in Brazil, he'd earn the fortune. Alec McLeish is up, along with Goff, and it's all petered out. It's a goal kick. Well, the crowd, which has come along tonight, I must say, have thoroughly enjoyed this. Gentle little flick across. They play so often and frequently in all the games I've seen them in this rather lazy fashion. Then you get the quick explosive bust. There it is. It's Mirandinha. And right out on that far side was Valdo. And Mirandinha and Muller are dangerous, Jim.
The number 9's absolutely fantastic.
He was called Mirandinha after the old 1974 World Cup player. Well, Alec McLeish, I know we've been saying players can get tired at this time of the season, but both on Saturday and tonight in his individual performance, he's disproved that. Looked very fresh indeed. So is this man, Alan McCoist. Once again he was fouled. Oh, Cooper. Wilson, McInally came up. I like the way they're touching the ball about. One-touch football in front of goal. Very good football by Scotland tonight. That's too strong. Oh. Josimar. Elegantly done, and look at the leap forward as well, and that was just a bit too much. I don't know whether they try to lull the opposition into a sense of false security, but they play very lazily so often, Jim.
Yeah, well, it's impossible for anybody to play really sharp for 90 minutes, and obviously they have their breathers in between, but when they go, they really go sharply. Although I don't see any bellies out here so far.
Perhaps just as well. There's McLeod. Roy Aiken. McInally. Fouled, yes. Big, powerful figure of Rous. I said Socrates' brother. Looks a bit like him. Same sort of build. Not as good a player. Cooper. Just got that away again, and Alan McCoy's. 2 men on him that time. And there's about 7 minutes, I think, 8 minutes in fact, to have time. That's Valdo. Inside to Douglas. On to Josimar. Ricardo. Longish one again, and that's not so much a danger because Scotland have been reading it all right. So when they start playing the fast and short passing and running at great pace towards goal, we have the difficulties. No free kick this time. There's Ricardo. Josimar. Run forward there by Muller. Tried a 1-2. Long, deep, penetrating ball, but Ali McCoist is on his own. I lacked support that time. Quite overpowered. Josimar picking it up a lot in the right back position now. This is the overlap. He's got away. And you can see he was trying to shield himself there, using his arm. I think the referee's given a corner kick. Good run by the full-back though.
Muller and Josimar look to have exceptional pace down this right-hand side. We need to watch that.
6 minutes to have time as the big man himself just goes to the edge of the box. Like the look of Andy Gorham, Jim. He's looked very secure.
Yes, he's looked exceptionally secure so far. I thought one of the saves in particular that came through one of our players' legs, and at the last minute he was down really sharp, collected the ball.
Here's Roy Aiken. free kick you'll get for that.
He's a brave man, number 11. They must know not know about Roy.
Well, I don't think the news has got through to the Amazon jungle. Here's David Cooper, free kick. All in there again for it. As McLeish, and that is a corner kick. I must say, Jim, that when they get in that position, Scotland really are looking dangerous. There are gaps in that defence.
Cooper's played in 3 great balls so far. And to me, it's 3 more than we got on Saturday, in particular the first half.
And here he is again. Headed away there by Nelsinho. Doesn't break well for Scotland. A brilliant ball by Wilson. Oh, great play by Cooper. And the 1-2 doesn't come off. Oh, the crowd loving this though. This man has been turning on that special magic. Great to see it from a Scottish player against Brazil. Lovely little jink. Great control. And the 1-2 let them down. Just a little too quick.
I hope Jim McInally can get number 9's phone number and see if he's interested in playing with Dundee United next season.
There's Jim out there. That's Goff. Cooper. Beautifully turned in again. And I think Cooper will be very much a marked man in the second half. Little gap appeared there in the Scottish defence as Valdo picks it up. Mirandinha. Very close control. Josimar. Douglas. There we have Edu picking it up. Edu 1. Rye. Well, again, that slow build-up, always threatening, and then the quick burst of acceleration, almost getting behind the Scottish defence that time, finishing with Muller. Under 3 minutes to the half-time whistle. There's Davy Cooper. McQuaist. Having to go the long way round to get an opening. It's Wilson, Cooper. Couldn't quite get it back, and I think that was well watched by the Brazilians. Picked up there by Ricardo. On the outside, Nelsinho. It's a throw. Miller trotting back. He'll be glad of a rest, like all these players. Their last competitive game tonight. And I get the impression they're thoroughly enjoying it. Tiredness has a lot to do with the tiredness of the mind as well.
I think the mental side, it's the worst actually.
Well, Gorham actually looked a bit exposed there. He didn't come out of his goal, but it's a goal kick. And I think it's going to Gerald Dow complain to the referee about something. Been warned by Signor Agnolin. McInally. There's Aiken. Just too much for McCoist. Well, we've had attractive football from both sides, but it's a delight to see that a lot of it has come from Scotland as well. There's trying to find Muller again, and McLeod makes his mistake. Ooh, that was a very good move. Rye getting the final effort. I must say Muller is dangerous, and you cannot afford to slip up against him. I think they've been trying that all night just to get beyond McLeod or turn them, and it almost came off. And there goes the half-time whistle. The players trot off for what has been an enormously enjoyable night, and this man has added to it perhaps more than anybody else. I know we've seen him turn it on in the past, but after what was a mediocre game on Saturday, we're seeing Scottish football, at least occasionally tonight, touch the heights. It's not a wild tackling game, not the same at stake as it is playing the old enemy, and we're getting a different performance as a consequence.
I honestly believe the most important factor is that even if they lose to Brazil here tonight, it's no any sensational disappointment for the players, whereas on Saturday I always think that the fear of losing takes away from the game, and most certainly the Scots don't like losing to English.
And there's a man leading the Scots out who certainly doesn't, Roy Aiken, the Scottish captain. Goodly crowd at that end. There are some beer patches at Hampden Park tonight. I haven't yet got the official attendance. We'll give you that as soon as we get it, but it's always crammed under the enclosure. There are the players. Broad smile on the face of Jim McInally, who has worked his heart out for his club both domestically and in Europe. Player who's one of the many who've almost come back from the dead in a professional sense, having gone from Celtic, then looping up to Dundee, back down to England, and then Dundee United, European final, and now an international. There are the Brazilians. Not quite sure where they come from. Some at the bottom there is Neil, so it must be a message from one of our punters who's travelled the world and knows that this is going back live to Brazil. You said there are no Pelés in the team, but they're still Brazilians, Jim. They can always spring a surprise or two.
Well, obviously the control is fantastic. An interesting thing to me is to see them hit really accurate balls with the outside of the foot, in particular number 10 and number 9. I'll leave the pronouncing of their names to you, Archie, if you don't mind.
Well, you're a real pal. I know that the full names of these players, I mean, William Douglas Hume de Menzies is one of them. We just call him Douglas. And that is number 10, by the way, Carlos Eduardo Pargaron Idu. He's called Idu, 1. And coming out now, trotting out, the man that we're waiting for, Mirandinha.
He's maybe been on the phone to my home about play with Dundee United.
Well, I know you're after him now.
Don't tell Graham Souness, but we've no chance if he's in.
That's Wilson. Now the Brazilians came out in dribs and drabs. We're looking at the centre just to see if there have in fact been any substitutions. Nice little chip forward there. Aiken not finding the space. Paul McStay. Goff gives him support on the outside, and McStay a little slow in parting with it. but gets a free kick. So McStay will take this. There was an announcement in the PA about a substitution, but we don't see one. He can just beyond them. That's number 8, Rye. Rye was a last-minute selection for this squad. Well, I can clarify that PA announcement. They had changed the jersey at the start and were just telling the crowd that number 8 was in fact Rye. So, Cooper, free kick. Oof. There's a chance for it. Ali McCoist outside of the foot. Really ought to put that away. That was a dreadful lapse in the Brazilian defence. Really was. Wilson. Once again, floated in well. That was a mistake, and Ali McCoist with the outside of his foot. Goalkeeper doing well. On that replay, you could see how he was very well positioned. That's McStay, outnumbered, cluster of yellow jerseys there. Oh, superb play by Mirandinha. Look at the pace of him, he's still there and burrowing in. And no wonder Mr. McLean fancies this man.
I hope Jim McInally doesn't tell him about me.
The scorer of 70 goals, as I said. So, corner kick. Taken there by Edu. Oh! That would have been the most spectacular own goal of Willie Miller. And the Brazilians, it's a free kick in fact. Look at this. Willie, I think, wrong-footed himself. All off balance. It was almost in. Well, they were appealing for a penalty kick. Some extraordinary lapses were already seen in the second half and only 5 minutes gone. Gerald Dow. Goff just beaten for that. Great pace again there by Nelsinho. Goal! That was almost decent. It was Rye. The tall figure of Rye opens the scoring for Brazil. He was so close to go. All coming from that astonishing shot by Nelsinho. A tremendous piece of play by Nelsinho. Look at that drive. And now, watch this one. He drove it in, got him wrong-footed, and he could not get back as Rye puts Brazil in the lead.
The goalkeeper was
here's the break again. It's Muller. McLean's just getting that away, and the linesman's flag is up, and the pressure, temporarily at least, is off Scotland. Great play, Jim, by Nelsinho, but I would have thought 1-0 up Brazil slightly flatters them.
Well, I thought again the cross, I'd like to see it again. I thought that the bloke hit it with outside his foot, and the goalkeeper was definitely caught expecting a normal outswinger.
Wilson is there. The police has decided to come forward, and you would not blame the Scottish players for feeling more than slightly stunned by that. They played so well up to now. There's Gerald Dow getting it away. Roy Aitken. Here's Aitken. Aitken drives forward, but they're beginning to touch the ball around now with great accuracy. The man who made it, Nelsinho. Well, part of the reason for the Brazilians coming to Europe at all was to get these younger players together. They're all potential World Cup players. They will all play, most of the squad will play in the Olympic Games. Again, a cluster of support in midfield. Free kick, no. Referee waves play on. It's McLeish. No, he didn't want to lose possession. Willie Miller. Cooper. Out to Wilson. To Cooper. There's Wilson. Now McStay. Spinning the cross, and I think he meant that for Richard Gobb. Wanting to go way to the left and then flick it over. Now watch this again from this angle, Jim. That shot you were talking about. See how the goalkeeper had to go back the way to get it.
Yeah, he was definitely expecting a normal cross with the ball swinging out from him.
And there was Rye to put in the finishing touch. Hopefully not the killing touch. A long way to go yet. That goal came in 7 minutes, and now
we've got to take off a midfield player now and put on a front player up beside Alan McCoist now.
Brian McClair, in fact, is warming up on the touchline. Gerald Dow. There's McLeish to McInally. Given plenty time to bring it down. Miller. Oh, 2 against 1. Look at it. That's Muller. He is Mirandinho there, and they've squandered it. It's unlike them, Jim. I mean, they had 2 against 1 in that situation.
Yes, a tremendous chance there.
Here's McInally. Cooper, lying very deep. Seen nothing of Davy Cooper in the second half so far. Richard Goff. Here's Aitken. Touched it the wrong way. Delightful play again by Josimar. That's Muller. Now this is Valdo. Oh, he gets a free kick. Yes. Wide rod down. Fond of taking the short free kicks, and that's too much. Still waiting for the possibility of a substitution. Brian McClair, as I said, has been warming up on the track. Here's Miller. McLeish. Richard Goff. Well, next day, all off balance, and suddenly Scotland seem all disjointed. Not this lot now. These balls are putting about. Josimar, too much in that. Throw to Scotland, I think. No? Douglas. Nelsinho. Rai. Valdo. Nelsinho. They'll play it like this all night if necessary. Strong play there by Douglas. And Brian McClare will come on any second now. That's if the referee sees the attempt of a substitution. Away he goes again and again. Nelsinho on the left. Wilson just to it. And good defensive work there by David Cooper. McCoy took it very nicely in the chest. Oh, too much to Ryakin. And too many of the moves in the second half have been breaking down. And now the substitution. Brian McClare. There he is. And it's Jim McInally who's coming off. As you said, it had to be a midfield player, Jim.
Yes, and I think that to me it was either the boy Wilson or Jim McInally. Jim McInally's been protecting the middle of the defence most of the game, and we definitely can't afford a player sitting there now.
Nice little touch and taken too quickly by Nelsinho. A bad kick out there by Andy Gorham. Free kick to Scotland. Brian McClare almost immediately fouled, coming on as a substitute. 14 minutes gone. Scotland trailing by 1-0. And here's Alec McLeish. Wilson. To Cooper. Willie Miller. Nice ball back. Now Cooper. Positive anticipation every time he goes near the ball. Hasn't just been as productive in the second half. This could be very dangerous. Look at this. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Wide gap, Valdo going in. There's Valdo. He can pick his spot and does. 2-0. Lovely goal, and that brings all the subs to the bench. I think they must have appreciated that. A typical Brazilian counter-attack. And Valdo left on his own, but he had enough space to advance on that defence. All coming from that mistake. And the outside of the foot pass, which Jim McLean has been mentioning as a characteristic of them, Valdo balanced, and that lovely turn and clean finish. Brazil are 2-0 up. 16 minutes now gone of the second half. Typical Brazilian finish, Jim.
Well, I think that the problem came from Richard Gough. He was away at centre forward, expecting the ball to be played forward, and he left a big gap here at right back, and defensively we were left exposed.
and they can punish the exposed team ruthlessly. Seen them done it. Seen them doing it so often. Not just against Scotland, of course.
It's very easy in the modern game to play on the break.
That's Mirandinha. Wilson. Well, if Scotland want to stand any chance of getting anything from this game, they've got to score very, very quickly. Free kick, I would have thought, yes. Thoroughly deserved goals in the way they were taking them and the execution of them, but I must say, judged on the first half performance, a bit cruel in Scotland.
Well, I think that really basically we were a bit naive. The first goal, as far as I'm concerned, the goalkeeper must take most of the blame for that one. The second one again, I think that Richard Gough was away early, far too early in front of the ball.
Mirandinha. The Scottish crowd beginning to applaud their moves, Jim. They're appreciating it.
Well, I think it's dead easy for them now, 2-0, and when they get the ball, they most certainly won't give it away silly.
That's McStay. Wilson. There's McStay. Wilson took that well. Dab with his left foot. Lovely move there by Ally McCoist, and McClare almost accepting it, striding forward. Well, they're beginning to exude the confidence. You think they might turn it into a training session or an exhibition, as you said, with 2 up. Yes, Cooper. No. Seems to have run out of steam, David Cooper.
Yeah, he's not had a good second half at all. He actually, I think, got caught with the ball when they broke out for the second goal.
There's Wilson. Josimar. Cooper. Oh. Brilliantly done by Mirandinha. Bit of play, and it should have gone straight through to McStay. Oh, the break is on again through Douglas. He might let one fly himself. Well, Jim, having said all you've said about Mirandinha, how much would you pay for him?
Oh, I can't say over the television here, because obviously David Mary or some of them might get a tape of it. But yes,
he's
without doubt, he's a fantastic player.
Oh, it's all bogged down in midfield, but here's Ally McCoist. No. Didn't have enough support, and Jim McLean made a point earlier on. It was a difficult role for Ally McCoist, virtually on his own for most periods. And it goes to Wilson, but well read.
To me, if you've got a front player that wants to take it to its feet all the time, you must have a penetrating player the other one. And the pairing, I don't think that really tonight we had 2 up all the time, but to get a perfect blend, it's very, very difficult.
Wilson, Potter McLeod. McLeod, by Aiken. There's a charge on now, Aiken, that's not a bad ball. A little bit unfortunate. Well, there's a bit of aggression from Roy Aiken. So badly needed by Scotland at this stage, as we're almost at the halfway mark in the second half. Well, William Miller has played against some fine players in his day, and if I ever get the chance, I'll ask him what he thought of Mirandinha, number 9. Edu. Second chance at it. There's Mirandinha. McLeish comes away, wants to make a run. Now David Cooper. Little bit short, and a free kick to Scotland. Brazil leading by 2-0. It'll be interesting to see if Brazil want to bring anybody on now. They have a big squad with them. Mirandinha. And it's wide open again. Mirandinha going on the outside. He tries the other side this time to Muller. There's Muller. That's a shot round, and it wasn't far away. Well, the Scottish supporters loved that move. Reminiscent of the way Kenny used to take it on the outside and drag a defender around, then try and curve it round, just like this. Seeing it again. Kenny probably did it better from the other side. Just watch the way he tried to curl it. Oh, grazing the post. This is Josimar. Edu. Dragged Richard Gough towards him. Neat little flick. This is Valdo. Edu. Nelsinho. Well, Rye came out as a substitute against England. Ooh, he did too much on that, Muller. Could have gone himself, I think. Well, Scotland certainly made a very good game of it up to the point of the first goal, but I have to confess, Jim, they look a beaten side now.
Well, I think that the criticism of Richard Gough, every time he gets the ball, they seem to be booing, and his desperation to try and win the game was the reason that Richard was forward trying to get a goal. And I think it's a wee bit unfair when you've got a player there trying to get up to give us a victory, and now they're criticising him every time he gets the ball.
Well, that's Richard Gough. He does like his runs into the box, and actually did it superbly well against England on Saturday, and Scotland having to push forward. There's Brian McClair. Oh, difficult bounce for McClair, and a cluster of players round him. And what's been given?
It's a corner
kick. Well, now, I did say they were a beaten side. They can prove me wrong. 20 minutes to go. Brazil leading 2-0, and here is a Davy Cooper corner kick. Just touched away. There's the shot as Willie Miller decides to come in at the back. Willie Miller scored a very important league championship winning goal in the Tawdry once from that position against Celtic, I recall. Does creep forward effectively occasionally. Right off McLeod. Here's McLeish. Nice touch to the outside. McClure getting his first run. Roy Aiken. Nelsinho's difficult man to pass. McClure. Disappointing game on Saturday, McClure. Well, that's high, but David Cooper, I think, was going to turn and go away with it, but he gets a free kick. Rousing the crowd. Seen hardly anything of him in the second half after a superb first. Let's see if he can bend it in. He's got a bad one, and Alec McLeish just a little off balance, and he knows it. Given a bit of freedom, rather surprisingly, by the Brazilian defence. There's Carlos. Carlos was the first team choice in Mexico after having gone to Spain but not played there in the previous World Cup. It's open. There's Nelsinho. Here he is again. Mirandinha. Oh, great pace. Look at him to the line there. Well, there may be no Pelé in the team, but Mirandinha is certainly the kind of outstanding player you like to see in a Brazilian jersey. Here's McClure. Oh, not judged enough. Goff. McStay fighting for it. And they're proving they are awkward customers. Here's Cooper. Davy Cooper, just a bit too much and taken away by Josimar. Sudden little flurry of activity by Scotland. Just to say we're not going to lie down to this. Edu. Douglas. Good shot. Now here's a chance. Brian McClure. He's Alan McCoy's with him. He's gone too far on the outside. And he still has it. Now, I think the ball had gone over and it's a corner kick. At least there was a run by Brian McClure. He got going, Jim.
Number 3's a good player. He's been the best in the air for the Brazilian side, and also he showed terrific pace there getting back.
That's Gerald Dow. Corner kick. Oof. Goalkeeper didn't like that. A lot of curve in it. I like the way the Scottish crowd have stayed behind the Scot. That's Muller. Mirandinha in the middle. Wide to Baldo. Nelsinho's there as well. Whoops, too strong. Too casual with that. I think we've tried to work out the wind's blowing diagonally right to left. Brazilians, I think, getting the advantage of it. Long run. McCoist. Still goes in, and a great run by McCoist. Well, Andy McCoist deserves a lot of praise for the way he kept his head there, kept his concentration. Might well have been taken out of the play by any of 3 players. Got his head over the ball and drove towards goal. That's a corner kick. Beautifully struck. Cooper. There's a touch and too casual. Brian McClare and Scotland, thankfully, fighting to the end. It's the end of their long and hard season, and they want to go out with a bit of pride, and that's what they're fighting for now. Josimar. Beautiful. Muller. Will he touch it inside? He does. Willie Muller doing the stopping. Another typical Brazilian move. Swift, incisive. And here's Ali McCoist. McClare, free kick. Scotland anxious to get on with the play. They realise time is against them. 12 minutes in fact remaining. They're still 2-0 down. Mondo McLeod. On it goes, and McClare. However, the linesman had his flag up. May have been handling. Here it comes. Up it went. Yes. I think handling there by Roy Aitken. McStay. Scripper. No. Bad mistake. Girindinha. And he goes in to cover him, and was it a deflection? No. Broad-chested individual, very fast, powerful on the ball. Mondo McLeod. Willie Miller. Good ball round the outside, McClare. Finding it very difficult to come on as a substitute, warm himself up and get a bit of freedom against these tight markers. Here's Cooper. Settle for that. In goes Richard Gough. It'll be meant for his head. Doesn't quite get there. Wilson back defending. A little bit too much. Cooper might have been slightly slow in taking off for it, and that was a free kick, surely? Nope. Thought Roy Aitken had fouled. Wilson does well to get that ball. Yes, not letting them settle. That's a better ball. McCoist. Well, I don't think anybody would have considered an injustice to get a goal off a rebound.
The referee looked a wee bit aggressive at one of the Brazilians there.
That's the scoreline with 9 minutes remaining. As we look at the northwest corner of Hampden Park. Gough. That was Rye. Difficult ball. Oh, bad shot there by Edu. He might well have set somebody else up. There's really no need to snatch at it. And it goes. Trying to get McClare to run to the outside. Fill out defenders a bit. This is Valdo. Being pulled back by Cooper, yes. Free kick, but not from there, I would suggest. Referee didn't even see where that was taken from. Stay. Too much in there. Asking an awful lot of Ali McCoist. Taken down by Muller Mirandinha after this. Willie Miller way to safety. Cooper. There's McStay. Now McLeish. Cooper. No, he hasn't had the pace in the second half. Touch has gone. Oh, really laid off. Mirandinha is inside. There he is. Oh, beautiful play. Oh dear, what a finish there by Edu. He just spun that ball round from the touchline all the way through. Almost like a game of pass the parcel, and then at the end, a dreadful finish.
There was at least one Brazilian in an offside position if it had gone in.
Goff. Well, that was a run-in, beautifully laid back.
Actually, two of them in an offside position.
Yes, could just see it there. Mirandinha, they got out of that cluster of players well. Oh, neat little pass by Luigi Agnolin. Here's Goff. I think I would like to have seen Scotland get a goal out of this game. I think they've justified it.
Well, the first half, we honestly might have got a goal, but the second half, to be completely honest, it's not really looked as if we're liable to score, with the exception of Alan McCoist. I think once made a really good run, and the goalkeeper saved well with his feet. Well, the Brazilians are coasting towards the winning of the Rous Cup. Here's hoping to bring it back next year. Yes, well, it would be delightful if they came back every year to play in this. There's a touch, and that was offside. 4 minutes remaining. An international season that has been, in terms of results, a disappointment for Andy Roxburgh at a period when he is trying to reconstruct the Scottish side.
We very rarely, we have never done well, in fact, in the European Championships. Infinitely better than the World Cups. And that is a process that must now be starting. But a World Cup draw in December, would you believe? And we are 3 minutes away from the end of this match as Adam McCoy has tried very hard in this game. Dispossessed and outnumbered. Jim.
Alan McCoy really has had a hopeless task tonight. The support and the blend beside him, it's been extremely difficult for him. Even considering the first half as well, when we definitely played a lot better.
And the Brazilians will be quite happy to play out time. Edu. A lot of a cloud, a little corkscrew turn, he got out of that well. Not the most brilliant Brazilian team I've ever seen, but they still have that intrinsic flair. Always the ability to provide the unexpected. And there's hardly ever a Brazilian team without a great individual, as we've seen tonight in Mirandinha. Taken down so casually by Nelsinho, the player who had that tremendous shot at goal that confused Andy Gorham. That's high, and Gorham not caught surprised. Knew exactly what was going on. A great effort though by Rye.
The Scottish players don't really want the ball now. The goalkeeper was standing there for ages before anybody would come and take it off him.
And we're exactly 1 minute away from the first occasion in which Brazil have played for a trophy in the UK, outside of the World Cup itself, of course. The Rous Cup is theirs. And that might in itself be a guarantee of their return. That's the player I was talking about, being quite outstanding, Mirandinha. Not there, number 10 was Edu. 30 seconds remaining. Seven internationals against Brazil. And there is Mirandinha, the man who has led his team to another victory in Scotland, still can't get that elusive win against the most exciting nation in the world at football. No, I think Jim McLean's right. The Scots players just want the final whistle now and get away in holiday. Valdo. That's Edu, and that will be, I think, a goal kick. I think, in fact, it's the final whistle. Handshake from Roy Aitken there. The ritualistic swapping of jerseys, and Brazil take the Rous Cup, drawing with England. Scotland drawing with England on Saturday, and now Brazil, the only victory of this triangular contest. And they take the Rous Cup. And the president of the Scottish Football Association is with it down there, David Will, along with the president of the Brazilians, or the man who's in charge of their squad across here just now. And the captain will come forward to get this, Gerald Dow. Well, Scotland tried so hard in that first half, I must say. I thought they deserved a goal at least 10. It didn't quite come. And I suppose when the Brazilians come up, they were wearing Scottish jerseys, at least most of them. Do not be confused. The victory is theirs, the Rous Cup is theirs, and once again they've come to Hampden Park, and if not, as I said, the most outstanding Brazilian team I've ever seen, certainly with that ability that produces moments above the ordinary when it matters. And very sportingly, the Scottish crowd rising to them as Geraldo lifts the cup aloft. Marvellous big player.